61. App HTTP controllers API v1 typically used for versioning API controllers, making it easier to manage different versions of the API. 62. App Vue creators contains Vue creators classes that are responsible for binding data to views before they are sent to the user. 63. Resources JS libraries custom directory for storing JavaScript libraries or modules used across your application. 64. Resources views emails directory for storing Blade templates specifically for emails sent by your application. 65. OTAs/console.php used for defining closure-based console commands which are registered within your application's console kernel. 66. Public SVG can be used to store SVG files that are directly used in your application's views. 67. Public hashes are custom directory that could store hash files or other security-related files used in the application. 68. Database seeders if using Laravel 8 or higher. Seeders will be located here, used to populate your database with initial data. 69. Database SQL custom directory that could be used to store raw SQL files, perhaps for complex migrations or queries. 70. App casts contains custom cast classes for eloquent models, allowing you to convert attributes to common data types or formats. 71. App HTTP controllers WebIF you separate web controllers from API controllers. This directory would contain your application-specific controllers for web routes. 72. App HTTP response a custom directory where you can store response classes or utilities to standardize and simplify the HTTP response throughout your application. 73. Resources views components if using Blade component classes. This directory would store the Blade files for those components. 74. App actions a custom directory that could be used to store action classes, part of the Action Domain Responder (ADR) pattern. 75. App value objects contains value object classes, which are immutable objects that are often used for simple computations, comparisons, and validations. 76. App interfaces for storing interface definitions that your application might use to define custom implementations. 77. App Builders contains custom query builder classes that extend Laravel's default Eloquent builder. 78. App Helpers, a directory for helper functions or classes. Typically, these are global PHP functions. 79. App Vue Widgets contains classes or blade files for widgets, which can be reused across different views. 80. App HTTP Controllers Auth contains authentication controllers provided by Laravel's Auth scaffolding. 81. App HTTP Requests APIF using API-specific form requests. They could be organized here to separate them from web application requests. 82. Resources Views Auth contains blade templates for authentication views, such as login and registration, if using Laravel's built-in authentication views. 83. Resources Markdown IF Your application sends Markdown emails. This directory can store Markdown templates for those emails. 84. App HTTP Controllers concerns a custom directory for traits or classes that are used across multiple controllers. 85. App HTTP Resources API v1 for versioning API resources, helping to manage different response formats across API versions. 86. App Strategies contains strategy classes, typically used for implementing various algorithms or business logic that can be swapped out. 87. App HTTP Middleware APIF You have middleware specific to API routes. You could organize them here to separate them from web middleware. 88. App Metrics a custom directory for storing classes that handle application metrics or data analytics. 89. App HTTP Controllers Sockets for applications using WebSockets. This directory could contain controllers that manage WebSocket events and connections. 90. App Libraries contains custom or third-party libraries that don't fit within the typical Laravel framework structure but are essential to your application. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.